We're back with another Silksong boss breakdown in a series where I'm calling it Silk Fighter 6, where we break down and analyze bosses' moves as well as their decision-making skills, showing how reminiscent or how closely it aligns with fighting game mechanics. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to be talking about Skull Land, which is technically a mini boss, but in my opinion, he's worth talking about because he's one of the few bosses in Acts 1 and 2, which I just got to 3, I haven't finished the game yet, where he pushed me over about 10 to 15 deaths before I was able to actually beat him. Now, he only has 3 moves to work with, but they work so well together that it's actually a pretty nasty combo, especially given the size of the arena that you fight him in. So first up, we're going to talk about the dig. And what this move does is when you're too far away from the boss, he will dig underground and reappear underneath you, which, you know, it seems like he's going for an underground attack, right? But it's so telegraphed that it probably doesn't catch anybody 99% of the time. So why does he use it so much? And the answer is it's a bait move to set you up to go pogo, meaning you attack his head, bounce away, attack his head, bounce away. That's what pogoing is. And he sets you up for a pogo. That way he can get set up for his second move in his kit, which is the leap. It's a move with tremendous range that he only seems to do that when you're in the air attacking him, and it's impossible to react to it. You can't dodge because chances are you're bouncing or you're on your way in. And you can't really dash forward or backwards because the range is ridiculous and he catches you. So do you see the synergy between those two moves alone, where he baits you into attacking from above and then smashes you down? Now, in my experience, I never saw him really leap or do the leap while I was not in the air. The only other time he does that leap, though, and there's a small exception, is if I try to dash away and heal, at which point he does the leap, which covers a huge amount of space, and he's able to get it off, or he's able to connect it because it takes me forever to heal. And again, like I said, it has a massive amount of range. But I never see him just randomly do the leap in front of me. It's always me running away from him or I'm in the air. Those are the only 2 scenarios, and it's almost like guaranteed he's going to land it. I don't think I've ever seen him miss it. And the last move of his kit is a pretty straightforward option, which is a 1-2 swing horizontally that covers a good amount of space in front of him that you can jump over it. But if you jump over it and you start pogoing, then it sets you back up again for the leap. You see what I'm saying? So if you move away from him too far, he digs to get close to you to bait the leap. And if you stand directly in front of him, well, then he does the 1-2 swing to put you back in the air to again encourage you to go in for a pogo, which then leads back into the leap again. And you kind of see how nasty his kit is. The cave that you fight him in is fairly small, so there's not a ton of space to work with either. And as I reflect back on all the bosses I faced up until Act 3, I feel like that leap alone covers about like 40% of the screen, which is pretty insane. Now, there are other bosses who technically cover more space on the screen, but because the range is so wide, there's always gaps in the screen where there's like safe zones you could jump to whenever bosses are doing their full screen move. But his move is different. It doesn't cover quite as much screen, but it's almost like a guaranteed hit on 40% of the stage. And very few bosses actually have that option. Now, I haven't gotten in too deep into Act 3, so I haven't seen it yet, but you know, it is something to think about. Now, in my opinion, he is a simple boss, but his setup condition is actually pretty nasty and hard to break away from. But that's all I had. I'm curious to hear from you guys. If he gave you a hard time, did you enjoy the boss? If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like for me, follow, sub. And again, I want to hear your thoughts on what you think about this boss breakdown, and let me know if you want to see more.
it.